whoever built this house, at least whoever built out this kitchen, did a terrible, terrible, awful job in every conceivable aspect.
Okay, so this is the kitchen before I moved in as photographed by the dark wizard that they got to take the real estate listing photos. And it looks okay, but really there's a lot that was wrong with it. It was a lot darker than this. It was cramped. It was old. We'll go through one by one. I'll start off by saying the ceiling height was crazy low, and we had these random fixtures that didn't center over anything. First up is this weird brass sheet range hood. It was a pile of crap. It stuck out too far. It was too low. I couldn't get anywhere near the stove top to the range if I wanted to cook something, so that had to go first. The other thing you'll notice is that there's a fireplace that is a propane fireplace. It wasn't very good. I did not feel safe because I didn't know how well it was built just leaving it running, so I disconnected that immediately upon moving in and eventually tore it out. The pantry in between the two was a weird waste of space, didn't need to exist. All these floor to ceiling cabinets were just ugh. And in this shot, you can see a bit of the countertop over here was a slate tile countertop. It was impossible to clean. It was hideous. It was ugly. It was cracking. Just god awful. The cabinets, none of them closed properly. They were all potato chipped. They were board and batten style, just done wrong. The appliances were all on their last legs. The paint color was awful. The floor was not good. A lot of it was usable, but a lot of it was really just ready to be torn out. The breakfast nook wasn't so bad. It used to be a porch, but nothing sagging, nothing terribly wrong. I really actually love the ceiling here, but the light fixture had to go, the paint had to go, the trim had to be painted, and this putt green mini golf course carpet absolutely had to go. It was just hideous. So let me just say that all this footage is from what I call the before times. This is when I moved into the house, I needed to lighten the place up immediately, just do a once over on the kitchen. I fixed all the doors, I added handles to the drawers, I took the ugly hardware out of there, I lightened it all up, and it was a lot brighter. And that was a couple years back. That was like the first year, 5 years ago, I moved into the place. Then I decided it's time to build some custom cabinetry and get this nonsensical, no counter space having crap out of here. And that's kind of when the whole thing went sideways. The first thing I started to notice was that these cabinets were built, and I knew this, but like, I knew they were built by 2x4s. You can see here, I did not know that all the 2x4s were framed with framing nails that were like 3 inches long. And at a certain point, I just had to stop. I had made some discoveries, and I will let a year and a half ago me explain to you what exactly went on.
So, demolition has stopped. There's a lot going on right now with this house. Um, yeah, I know, Gus. Even Gus is disappointed. But let me start where I start. Here, the section where the cabinets were back to the wall, uh, for about 9 feet this way, right to about where the fan is. Um, Seems like it was an add-on, like it was a smaller. Really? Hi. Yeah, say hi. Hi. We're doing work. It was a small addition or something. So the floor upstairs is even, but the ceiling down here is not even. There's a beam running this way, just past where the cabinets were, and it started to make me think that the reason they built these cabinets out of straight 2x4s was to support a sagging ceiling because of an unsupported beam that was, right now it's a 2x8 beam, on edge running this way that used to support, I think, an exterior wall and no longer does. So their solution was to build cabinets underneath it. When I started yanking that out, I poked a little hole and I realized what was going on in the ceiling, and I stopped immediately. So Saturday, we're gonna have some guys come in and give me a hand. I'm gonna tear a lot of this ceiling out. We're going to see what's up there, sister that up with an LVL, hopefully get that sorted. That's the easy part. The more difficult part is the step. that I'm assuming was built over an old porch because there is a stone slab underneath it that is about an inch higher than the kitchen floor itself. Cat hair in my mouth. Between that slab and the actual kitchen floor is 8 to 10 inches of dirt. The support posts for this 10.5 foot opening that used to be the exterior wall of the kitchen over here, perpendicular to whatever they did over here, is supported by a 5x5 beam that has been bowing since I bought the house. The post that beam sits on and that the other beam I was telling you about sit on is footed in that dirt. And when I say footed, I mean buried and rotting in that dirt. Whoever built this house, or at least whoever built out this kitchen, did a terrible, terrible, awful job in every conceivable aspect. It was a rush job and it was done poorly and they never thought about the future, and now I'm paying for it. This was a small pest animal hole, right? That was about this big, and I opened it up so I can get a better look in here. The post is here that I'm talking about. This, there's no footing. There's only dirt. And then if I put my hand underneath the kitchen floor, same thing, only dirt. Now I don't know if that means for this section there's only dirt, or if the whole thing is dirt, but I can tell you this: the bottom of this beam is rotted the fuck out. Like I can just pull pieces out right off with no effort. That's absolutely fucked. And what I'm gonna have to do is pull the riser here all the way down, knock out the wall here, and I'm hoping, since that post is here, I'm hoping at some point somebody with a brain, when they opened this archway up,
I'm hoping they put in proper support, and they sort of did. There's a screw jack stud in here. It's on a concrete footer, and I probably call it a lolly column a bunch of times in this video, but that's because I was at maximum stress point. There's a slab, a stone slab under there. It's concrete. Because this used to be a porch, and they closed it in. I also think that this whole kitchen used to be a porch that was closed in, but it's hard to tell. Anyway, there's 6 to 8 inches of dirt straight down. These studs are footed on some sort of stone underneath that, but the dirt was up so high on the wood that it rotted away a long time ago. So that stud, and the stud at the wall don't have any footing. The one at the walls has a little bit more than everything else, but there's no bottom to these two studs. Luckily, I figured that because the laziest way they could have done this was to put a jack stud right up against it and extended this wall. And I was right. They did me one better though, and they gave me a lolly column, which is good, nice and strong and adjustable, and easily mess withable, I guess. This wainscoting is all over the ceiling and the walls. I have no idea. It's probably the shape of the original kitchen, but who the hell knows? As it stands, this beam here is one I was talking about that is kind of a little unsupported for my like, but I'm glad it is supported by the lolly column, which is sitting on concrete. So we'll go in here, get the light on. You can see there's that concrete footer over there, and this is exactly where it ends. Why is that not what you want? Well, because you end up with stuff like this, which is dead recently, so there's still mouse activity under this floor, and this is what they're doing to get into my house. They just found an entrance in the outside foundation somewhere, and they get in through this deck, and I gotta fix that. So and yeah, so dirt. I can end up by coming over here is the edge of the concrete for the foundation, and the footing for what I'm assuming was the edge of the porch. I don't want to have to unjenga this to get in there to see. I'll dig underneath that piece of wood later, and I'll check and double check that there's a footing. So in order to have the crew and I install the LVL, I have to take down the drywall and the beadboard that's underneath it and the weird faux beams that are underneath that. And what you're seeing here is the beginning of a man who is about to have the worst few weeks of his life, because I think this is all I have to do, and that is not the case.
So I get to open up some walls today and tomorrow. Saturday, today's Thursday, by the way. Saturday, I will have help fixing the ceiling issue. Yeah, I know. Hi. Oh, say bye-bye. Yeah.
Next time on Bad Bones, things get even worse. There's ceiling issues.
On. What's wrong with you?
And ceiling issues.
Jesus.
And battery issues.
Seriously, what the f today? Just charge this.
So,
Come on.
stay tuned.
Did one thing and now it's dead? Cool. Cool shit.